This is WJLA 24/7 News, on your side.
An Easter like no other, Christians around the world celebrating the holiday isolated in their homes. The coronavirus pandemic forcing churches to change tradition and to go virtual. That includes the National Cathedral. Thousands tuning in for an online service today, complete with music, prayer, and an Easter message of hope. Coming up in 2 minutes, we hear from D.C. Rector Tim Cole about his coronavirus recovery and the special message for his congregation. But first, 7 on Storm Watch, tracking severe weather moving across the country. Much of the Deep South bracing for possible tornadoes this Easter Sunday. Strong storms are already tearing through Louisiana and Texas.
Oh my God. It's about to go. Oh, there it goes!
Strong winds tearing the roof off of a shed in Texas, and this system of severe weather headed east, and it could impact the DMV overnight. ABC 7 on Weather Alert tracking the system, and meteorologist Brian Vandergraaf watching this closely right now.
Yeah, Carl, right now, in fact, around here in the metro area, we're seeing the clouds out ahead of that rain that will be moving in later tonight. But the big push of the weather, the unsettled weather, the potential for strong to severe weather will move in for your Monday. Let me take you outside and show you what's happening, big picture. And as you look down to the south, they've had widespread severe weather, and it continues to occur right now as we speak. You can see all those red boxes and yellow boxes indicating tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches, and a strong line of storms from Tennessee down through portions of Mississippi into Alabama, and all of that energy driving eastward. You can see today they have a moderate risk, second to highest risk for down portions of the Deep South right over just to the west of Atlanta, and an enhanced risk all the way in through the Carolinas. This is for tonight. We just have a slight risk, a marginal risk tonight, but that risk increases as we head into tomorrow. Notice as we go into level 2, a slight risk with enhanced, a level 3 just down to our south. What does this mean? This means as we head through tomorrow morning, periods of heavy rain will develop and strong storms will become possible after 6, 7 o'clock in the morning through mid-morning right around till lunchtime. Some periods of showers and thunderstorms, some of which could pack wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour. Damaging wind gusts. We're talking heavy downpours, flooding rain potential. We have a wind advisory up for wind gusts tomorrow. And in addition, we have a lot of spin in our atmosphere, and we do have some concern that we could see an isolated tornado or two in spots. So something we'll be keeping a close eye on. Coming up, we're going to look at your local futurecast and try to time it out hour by hour for your neighborhood and talk about a bit of a calmer, cooler pattern emerging for Tuesday and the week beyond. That's the latest for Outside. Carl, back inside to you.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. And back now to our coverage of the coronavirus pandemic. New numbers today show there are now more than 15,000 cases across the DMV. Maryland now has more than 8,000 diagnosed cases, but we've learned that more than 450 people have recovered in that state. More than 5,200 people have tested positive in Virginia, and D.C. is approaching 2,000 confirmed cases. And an update tonight on the district's first confirmed case of COVID-19. Father Tim Cole of Christ Church Georgetown was diagnosed back on March 7th. He has since recovered and sent out this online message today.
It's been a long road for me. I think I was a bit sicker than I thought I was, but I am therefore that much more grateful for being home here with my family and here with you this morning, albeit in this virtual sense. It's been a deeply moving experience for me to see just how this amazing community has reacted to this crisis, how they have connected, built more relationships of flourishing and connectedness.
And today was the first time in more than 200 years that Christ Church has been closed on an Easter Sunday. While many local businesses also having to adjust this holiday, some taking the opportunity to help others during this difficult time. And as ABC 7's Katie Kairos reports, a D.C. bakery made it a very sweet Easter Sunday for one local hospital. That's new at 5.
Hundreds of cream puffs. An Easter delivery at Sibley Memorial Hospital from French Bistro Et Voila in Northwest Washington.
I think Easter was supposed to be a celebration to share, to have a great meal in family. Now with the situation, I'm sure it's not easy for us, and it's not easy for them too.
Carol Shannon of the Sibley Foundation taking the delivery to medical staff. She says local businesses have supported Sibley like no other.
If you could see the look on staff's face when they get a free meal, a special treat on a holiday like today, it's so meaningful and it's energizing.
Not only were people looking to show gratitude to doctors and nurses this Easter, but churches around the area who have been forced to bring their services online were looking to do more outreach this year.
Because we could not have Easter service in the sanctuary, we wanted to bring the church to the people.
This is the line of nearly 1,500 cars waiting at Ebenezer AME Church close to dawn. The church in Fort Washington, Maryland raised money to give away $50 gift cards for groceries.
God bless you. Happy Easter to you. Come back and see us, all right?
It was a day with signs of hope and signs of tough reality, according to Pastors Granger and Joanne Browning.
It was just a phenomenal blessing just to see how appreciative people were. And also you got a sense of how much people are suffering.
Yes.
I mean, people are really suffering. We got a sense that for a lot of people, if we were not helping them, they literally would not have known how they were going to eat today.
Katie Kairos, ABC 7 News.
Now, as many people around the world celebrate this Easter in isolation, the Pope sought to bring hope and prayer to Catholics around the world from the Vatican. The Pope celebrated Mass inside a largely empty basilica, and during the service he called for people around the world to unite in prayer. And for some encouraging news here out of Italy tonight, Italy has recorded the lowest number of new coronavirus deaths in 3 weeks. Also, for the 9th straight day, the number of new patients admitted to the ICU is going down. Total hospitalizations are also down. Well, here in the U.S., we are learning new information about the timeline of the coronavirus and how early warnings played a part in the impact of the crisis in our country. Sinclair National correspondent Christine Frizzell reports on how the White House initially pushed back against those who predicted this pandemic.
As medical professionals continue the brutal fight against the coronavirus, some today looking back at how it all unfolded. A New York Times investigation detailing the timeline, how President Trump was warned of the threat multiple times in January, both by public health experts and even officials in his own administration, like Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and trade advisor Peter Navarro. How the president repeatedly played down the seriousness of the virus and how his reliance on his instincts led to a halting and late response. Dr. Anthony Fauci asked about those early warnings this morning on CNN.
We look at it from a pure health standpoint. We make a recommendation. Often the recommendation is taken, sometimes it's not.
Many now asserting had businesses closed sooner and social distancing guidelines been given earlier, the numbers of those infected could be much lower.
You could logically say that if you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that.
President Trump argues his restricting travel from China did save lives, and in a tweet today blamed Congress for focusing on impeachment when they should have been investigating the coronavirus. Many on the White House coronavirus task force choosing instead to look ahead at the flattening of the curve in some regions and also the growing number of success stories of people who have recovered from COVID-19. And that includes a close friend and ally of President Trump, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
I've today left hospital after a week in which the NHS has saved my life, no question.
Looking ahead, top officials are focused on the economy. The IRS reporting direct deposits of stimulus checks have now started, though questions remain about when businesses may reopen.
We're looking at May 1st. Obviously, we want that to happen as soon as possible. I can't predict at this point.
A time of uncertainty some now believe could have been scaled back. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Well, new information tonight about how Maryland will report coronavirus cases. The state will now lay out where COVID-19 is hitting the hardest. Governor Larry Hogan's office making that announcement today. He says the state will soon begin posting coronavirus cases by zip code. The governor also says he wants more specific information on how the virus is hitting certain minority groups.
This disparity among African Americans is very disturbing. None of the federal labs, the CDC, nobody was actually tracking these tests by race. And we went back and actually individually looked all this up, thousands of cases.
Now, Hogan also says those numbers and his work are part of the reason why the federal administration started to see Baltimore, Washington as a hotspot. Now, in an effort to stop the spread in Maryland, face coverings will soon be required in Prince George's County grocery stores and pharmacies. County Executive Angela Alsobrooks making that announcement last night. Masks will also be required to take the bus. This takes effect on Wednesday. Now, a similar order starts Monday in Montgomery County. No one will be arrested for not wearing a mask, but businesses are allowed to turn people away if they are not wearing one. Now, remember, 7's on your side with full coverage of the coronavirus on our website. One story you may want to read about, Mayor Muriel Bowser closing some roads in the district to allow residents to get out and get some exercise. All of that information posted right now on WJLA.com. And now to new details about how the pandemic is impacting the final farewells of 2 D.C. police officers. Sergeant Mark Eckenrode and Sergeant Donna Allen died last week. Their deaths, we're told, are not COVID-19 related. The D.C. Police Union telling ABC7 today that the officers' families will have small services for now. After the pandemic is over, MPD will hold memorial services for both. Both officers served for decades with MPD. Our thoughts are with their families tonight. Well, coming up, Apple is trying to make it easier to navigate this pandemic. The new developments that will soon be available on iPhones. And after an essential trip out, how do you stop COVID-19 from getting back inside your home? Well, 7 on your side with simple steps that you can take starting the second that you step out of the grocery store. Asks to its drivers and deliverers to help keep them safe from COVID-19. Cities like Miami, Detroit, and Philadelphia now require rideshare drivers to wear masks. So far, there is not a similar requirement in this area. Now, meanwhile, Apple is working on a new tool to help people find coronavirus testing sites in their area. According to USA Today, the tech company launched a portal on its website for medical facilities to register as coronavirus screening locations. Apple will then verify those testing sites and include them as destination options on its Apple Maps app. There are also reports the app will provide information on drive-through testing locations. A question on a lot of people's minds as we try to stop the spread of COVID-19. If you have to go out, how do you safely get back into your home and lower the risk of bringing that virus with you? Well, 7 on your side's Becky Worley has the answer.
Coming from the outside world back home feels significantly more treacherous these days. So we asked Dr. Angela Rasmussen, a researcher from Columbia University who studies viruses, how she disinfects after a trip, say, to the grocery store.
So here's what I do when I get in the car.
It actually starts here, when she leaves the store.
Take my hand sanitizer, sanitize away.
When she gets home, her immediate routine has a focus.
Before touching my face or touching any other surfaces in the house, is I'm going to wash my hands for 20 seconds with soap and warm water.
She says coats, purses, and fabrics don't need any special treatment.
There has not been any reports of coats or clothing being a significant transmission risk for COVID.
But she does think about her phone.
Phones are potentially a higher risk source of fomite transmission or transmission from surfaces because they're in such close proximity to both your hands and your mouth and nose.
She recommends cleaning phones with disinfectant wipes or alcohol when you get home. But what about changing clothes or washing your hair?
The risk for transmission from your clothing, again, unless you've had direct contact with somebody who might be sick, is pretty low.
That was Becky Worley reporting. New at 5, with many nursing homes shut down to outside guests, visitors are finding creative ways to say hello. Residents at a facility in Kentucky were visited by miniature horses and some bunnies. The animals were paraded around the windows as part of a special Easter celebration.
Well, Easter is one of my mother's favorite holidays, and it's an important holiday.
And the surprise visit from the animals certainly lifting the spirits there. And we have must-see pictures now out of Minnesota. These are from our Sinclair sister station in the Twin Cities. About 3 inches of snow falling there on this Easter Sunday. Quite a sight for us here down in the DMV, with really no snow all winter long. What gives, Brian? Explain yourself.
Well, I will tell you this, Carl. We are talking severe weather tomorrow, but some of our models late Tuesday into Wednesday could bring some snowflakes to some of our western counties by the middle of the week. So never say never. Let's talk about what's happening out there. We had a delightful Easter day. Yes, we had some clouds. There was even a couple of sprinkles that passed on through, but the bulk of the day has been dry, and into the evening, hopefully you're enjoying Easter dinner, should be good to go. But we are looking at rain tonight that eventually will give way to some strong, potentially severe weather for the first half of Monday, heading into the new work week. Outside right now, 68 degrees from our Bluemont, Virginia camera. You can see that off to the west in Loudoun County. Meanwhile, in the district, we're checking in at 71 degrees. The view from the tower cam there in northwest D.C. and at Chesapeake Beach over by the water, 65 degrees with a bit of overcast out there right now. So let's talk about what we're in store for as we head through the next couple of hours. We're looking at these mild temperatures to continue to linger. In fact, with the clouds moving in later tonight, the temperatures really are not going to drop back. We are going to watch some showers start to approach from the south and west. See those winds right now, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour coming out of the south right now, and they will continue to pick up. For tomorrow, independent of any showers and thunderstorms that come through, we are under a high wind warning for the higher elevations of the west and the mountains, and down for Calvert County and St. Mary's on the Bay. The rest of us under a wind advisory. We could have gusts of 50 miles per hour tomorrow throughout the day, separate from any showers and storms that develop. Next few hours, what we'll notice are increasing clouds and showers starting to develop. Periods of rain off and on overnight while you sleep. Some heavy rain. Look down through the deep south, though. Some of those showers starting to work their way in southwestern Virginia through the Carolinas, but the really active, strong weather now through portions of Mississippi and portions of Alabama. Tornado warning, a tornado emergency just declared for portions of Mississippi. You can see all those boxes down there from west of Birmingham down towards Greenville, Macomb, and down deep south right down to the Gulf of Mexico. That severe weather threat shifts eastward for tomorrow, and we will see our chance for tomorrow showers and thunderstorms, especially the first half of the day. Futurecast taking you through time tomorrow morning. Showers heavy at times. Look at 5 o'clock. A line of hefty showers and thunderstorms. We could talk 1 to 2 inches of rain in some spots. Some embedded thunderstorms that could put down some dangerous wind gusts. And then more periods of heavy rain off and on through around midday. Now, as we go into the afternoon, there could be one final push there early afternoon. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But within these lines of hefty showers and storms, we could have potentially some tornado, so we'll have to keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Strong storms off and on throughout the morning through about midday. By afternoon, those showers and storms do start to taper off and lessen up a bit. As by the time we get to 3, 4 o'clock, it should be good to go. 80 degrees or so tomorrow. Cooler on Tuesday and Wednesday. More rain on Wednesday. As I mentioned, Wednesday, some flakes in the mountains, and then gradually warming for late in the week, but more rain could move in for Friday and Saturday. Let's speak of the forecast. More on the next couple of days coming up in just a bit. We wrap up that final weather, Carl.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Well, the NFL Draft will have an all-new look this year. Now the Redskins and the Ravens plan to tackle this year's virtual edition.
Welcome back, my friends. I'm Scott Abraham. Happy Easter. I hope you're having a great Sunday. From a fan's perspective, this year's NFL Draft will be completely different. But you know what? It will also be a big adjustment for every head coach in the National Football League. It will be a totally new NFL Draft experience this year as the coronavirus pandemic has pushed the NFL into an all-virtual draft.
And just kind of show everybody, that you can function within the guidelines that are being set by the CDC.
It will certainly be a unique experience, but for some, it may seem like a throwback to the good old days.
It's a little bit of going back to the way it used to be done.
Well, it's going to be old school. It's like the 80s have come back and we're just going to sit here and watch tape. I mean, I've been doing that in this office now for the past 2 weeks.
Drafting remotely will pose its challenges, though.
I am truly the proverbial trained gorilla that I come in and push a button and turn something and, it's right there in front of me. So having to learn to adapt to all this, I think is probably one of the things that's helping me out a lot.
Sure, there are the tech challenged, but it's the tech savvy that has Ravens head coach John Harbaugh a little worried.
I really wouldn't want the opposing coaches to have our playbook or our draft meetings. That would be preferable. I've got some real concerns about that, and hopefully we'll be okay. That's kind of like that,
But in the competitive world of the NFL, don't look for anybody to make excuses.
We're going to find out just how good we are in terms of being able to evaluate. We're going to rely on our scouts, to give us their evaluations of these guys that they've been watching for a period of time.
And honestly, looking at it as an opportunity, I mean, we're all going to be in the same boat. I mean, none of us are going to have an advantage over anybody else. So whoever makes use of whatever the situation is the best, gets their team ready the best, starting with the draft and then with the development of our players, that's who's going to win the most games. So, like, you know, we just look at it that way.
Also, a programming reminder, make sure you tune in for ABC 7 Sports Sunday later tonight. We are getting you set for the upcoming NFL Draft. You'll hear from Ron Rivera, John Harbaugh, former Redskins GM, Charlie Casserly. All the fun starts at 11:35 tonight. We will see you then.
And new tonight, we've learned that the WNBA draft will happen virtually as well. It's going to happen at 7 p.m. on Friday on ESPN. There will be no players, guests, or media allowed. One local prospect to watch, Kayla Charles from the University of Maryland. We'll be right back.
Things are calm now, but we will see those showers start to pick up later tonight and pre-dawn tomorrow. Some hefty rain. We're under a slight risk for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. And we're going to be keeping a close eye. Heavy rains, damaging wind gusts, slight chance of hail, even an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out tomorrow. Look at the timing overnight, some showers, but they really start picking up pre-dawn tomorrow. And by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning through 4 or 5 o'clock, some hefty bands of rain. And look at that line of intense showers and thunderstorms. Could see some severe weather through the early morning. So a lot of you may be sleeping in because you may be working from home or teleworking. Just make sure you remain weather aware. Use your phone as a device. Also download that Storm Watch 7 app. It'll alert you if warnings are issued for your area. Carl?
All right. Thank you, Brian. And thank you for joining us. The news continues.